Good evening. My name is Tremonda Rains, and I am presenting to you my interpersonal communication project for HSER 508-TD14. Next slide. Communication is talking plus listening. You cannot have one without the other. Communication is a part of everyday life, and through communication, individuals display to others and tell others what their needs and their wants are. Stewart defines communication as the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. Interpersonal communication labels the kind of communication that happens when people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Next slide. My overarching goal is to become a better listener. Throughout this course, I have learned that this is an area where I have fallen. So therefore, to be an effective communication, I have to learn how to listen. Listening is taking information from speakers, other people, or ourselves while remaining non-judgmental and empathetic, acknowledging the talker in a way that invites the communication to continue, and provide limited but encouraging input to the talker's response, carrying the person's idea one step further. Next slide. Launching the conversation, to me, involves recognizing and understanding one's weaknesses in communication, such as effective listening, and working on those issues while continuously engaging in conversations. In order for me to fix this problem of me being lacking in the listening area, I have to continue communicating. If I fail to continue to communicate and have conversations with people, I will not be able to improve my listening skills. So to stop communicating is not the best way for me to become a better listener. I have to continue to work on it. Next slide. My personality type and blend, what is expected of me is CS, meaning I like to do one thing at a time, and when I do it, I like to do it right the first time. I want to be the humble, quiet, and compliant person that I am, and I am very protective of the truth and those who are very close to me. I don't particularly like people who tell lies, and I love the people who I love. So therefore, if someone is having some type of issue with somebody that I love or someone that's very close to me, we have a problem. So this is part of my behavioral blend of what is expected of me. Next slide. Now, who I am the CIS. This means that I like to influence and interact with other people. I prefer peace and harmony and organized environment. I don't like a lot of drama. And people like my friendliness, my enthusiasm, and my cordiality. I am often told I am a very friendly person and that I like to be peaceful and have harmony because I think that everyone should get along. Next slide. The good part of my behavioral blend consists of me having strong people skills. I'm outgoing yet reserved, which means I can like to have fun, but at the same time I can become complacent and be alone to myself. Sometimes this is good and sometimes it's bad, but I like to think of it as good because I know where my limitations are. I am seen as inspiring and impressing. I am good at avoiding conflicts and resolving conflicts, and I am very responsive to the needs of other people. This shows my humble side. Next slide. The bad. I am more passive than I am active. I lack assertiveness and aggressiveness. I think too much or worry about others more. It says that I am critical and I am fault-finding and I am over-analytical. Some of these attributes I agree with and some of them I don't. I am often told that I am very over-analytical. I have a tendency of thinking about something too much. And that can be a downfall for me. But at the same time, I like to think my way through things. So when other people think that I am being over-analytical, actually what I am doing is I'm thinking my way all the way through it instead of just jumping at the first opportunity to do something that I don't know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do. I like to weigh my pros and my cons. So if this is saying that I think too much or that I'm over-analytical, then that's just what it is. But I don't think of that as me being it's a bad attribute. I think of it as being a good attribute. Next slide. Potential barriers, problems that keep me from being a good listener. Faker. I am good at faking when it comes down to people thinking that I am listening to them. A lot of times I'm not. And I can throw out cues to let that person think that I am thinking and listening to what they are saying when actually I am not. This is inappropriate, and this is something that I have to work on. And the way that I have to handle this is I have to apply the skills that I've learned in the course for the level 1 listening skills. Next slide. The interrupter. The interrupter is a type of person who barges into conversations because the talker, has said something that may bring something to the listener's mind, and the listener wants to interject. I have a problem with doing that. And also have a tendency of changing the conversation, which is inappropriate as well. So what I have to learn to do is I have to apply the technique that Sam used in Peterson, where he waited his turn. I have to continue to think about what I have to say, but at the same time I have to listen to the talker, so that when it's time for me, when he pauses and it's time for me to interject, then I know when to do it. It's kind of like taking turns. Next slide. Fatigue. When we don't feel up to par, we have more difficult time being attentive. This is according to Burley Allen. This is very true when it comes down to listening skills for me. I have a tendency that when I'm tired, I don't want to listen. All I want to do is rest. So you can be talking away at me, but I may not be paying attention, and that's not showing any type of respect for you. The right thing for me to do would be for me to politely tell you, you know what, I'm tired right now. Give me a few minutes, and I'll the rest, and I promise you, I will get back with you and listen to what it is that you have to say. This is me applying my level 2 listening skills. Next slide. Noise pollutions. Internal noise pollutions for me are personal issues. It's hard for me to listen to someone who is talking whenever I have some issues going on for inside myself. What I have to start doing is stop being so self-absorbed into myself and what my problems are, and listen. That's the solution to that problem. Lack of focus. I have to learn how to concentrate. If I have other things going on, I have to learn how to put whatever is going on to the side and concentrate on that individual and what they're saying to me. This is internal because it's something that's going on the inside of me that I have to learn how to focus and learn how to concentrate on what is going on. Next slide. External noise pollutions, interruption of phone calls. Solution to this is I have to screen my phone calls. If someone comes in to interrupt, I have to politely let them know I'm talking to such and such at this moment. I'll get back with you in just a few minutes as soon as I'm done with her. That's respect for the talker. Clock watching. In order for me to fix this type of noise pollution, I have to remove myself from areas where there are clocks, because sometimes people can get a little long-winded, and when people get long-winded, I start watching the clock. So that's not appropriate either. So the best way to fix that is for me to not be around clocks or any type of timing mechanism, so that I won't be watching the clock instead of listening to the individual. The next type of external noise pollution that I have is views of outside activity or scenery. To fix this problem, I have to move to an area that has no windows or any type of view or sceneries that can be a distraction. That's not fair to the talker, and it's not fair to me because I'm not paying attention to what's going on or paying attention to the talker, and that's disrespectful. Next slide. My plan of action: prayer always first. The Bible says praying without ceasing. So therefore, if I pray that God provide me with the right things to say and the right things to learn how to decipher or discern the good and the bad, then that way I know what to listen for. I have to apply all the skills that I learned to become a level 1 listener, which is such as empathetic listening. I have to remain attentive during conversations, create a conducive environment, avoid interruptions and distractions, and apply Matthew 7:7. What I want others to do to me, I have to do to them. I expect people to listen, and therefore they should listen to me, and I should listen to them. Next slide. And that is my bibliography. Thank you.